how you like it, yeah.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the We Don't Know TV podcast. My name is Leaf. I am your host. This is a podcast where we watch the first episode of a show and then we talk about it. I am still the only we for now. Today we are talking about Hazbin Hotel. The premise on IMDb states, in an attempt to find a nonviolent alternative for reducing Hell's population, the daughter of Lucifer opens a rehabilitation hotel that offers a group of misfit demons a chance at redemption. I think that is perfectly said. Now, if it is your first time here, I go through the plot. That way I don't miss anything, and that way you don't have to. We start with another voiceover, a common theme amongst all the shows I tend to watch. And we learn that, of course, there is heaven, there are angels, and instead of the regular angels with, that look like humans that have angel wings, these are like biblically accurate angels. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I highly recommend you Google it. But essentially think of like a giant eye with like rings rotating around it, and like there are eyeballs on the rings as well, and then that's floating above a body, and that body has like 6 wings layered on top of it. You should just look it up or watch the show. But yeah, I thought it was interesting to have biblically accurate angels instead of like the typical ones that we're used to. Of course, Lucifer is one of these angels. He looks like a regular person, but he has 6 wings. He's giving off Willy Wonka type vibes, just from like the design, and they're saying that like, he likes different things. He likes to be creative and kind of like, he wants to be outside the box. He wants to kind of, do his own thing. And the angels are very paint by numbers. They actually see him as a troublemaker, so they don't let him help when they make Earth. When they make Earth, the angels also make Adam and Lilith, not Adam and Eve. And they're supposed to be equals, but it turns out that Adam was like, no, I'm the man, I'm superior. And Lilith wasn't about it. And I found this part already to be interesting because I was like, oh, okay, you assume Adam and Eve, but like having Adam and Lilith, and then setting up the fact that, oh yeah, they're supposed to definitely be equals, like full-on equals, feels very much, a modern take on all of this, as opposed to, something in the Bible where, it's like they could say that they're even, but, there's clearly like a power dynamic. But let's not get into all of that. So Lilith is on her own. Lucifer finds her like sense of self very attractive. He goes to talk to her. The two fall in love. They end up wanting to spread free will across Earth, which they do, and they start with Eve. They give her the apple, the story. And that's when sin comes to Earth. Now, of course, with all this sin and all this evil, it has to go somewhere. So hell is like naturally creative. The angels aren't cool about this. They send Lucifer and Lilith into hell. Lucifer, unfortunately, never gets to see any of the good things that come out of having free will. He only sees all the negative because he's trapped in hell, and he loses his will to dream and like all the sparkle that he had before. Lilith ends up empowering everybody, especially through her songs, and she's kind of like building up hell, giving the demons there kind of like the sense of their own, and heaven is not cool with that. So once a year they're like, we're just gonna send a legion of angels to just murder all of you to keep you in line, essentially. And Lilith has now passed on her dream of more empowered hell, I guess, to her daughter Charlie. Now, before we actually get deeper into the episode, I thought it was interesting to have this voiceover be from Charlie's perspective, clearly, of what she knows of the story, because it just paints Lucifer and Lilith in a positive light of like, hey, they just wanted to do something different. They wanted to be a little bit outside the box. They didn't want to be trapped in the angel's creation, and because of that, things did go right. We did get sin, you did get hell, but essentially, they weren't trying to do the wrong thing. It's just bad things happened, and they got punished for it. So already putting heaven and like the angels in like a not the best light, putting things very much in like a gray area, which is like, okay, cool. I like that. This isn't too paint by numbers. There is a little bit of that middle ground to talk about. So we could have this explanation essentially, and this is where we're to see Charlie for the first time. And we meet Vaggie, who is her girlfriend. It isn't stated, but you can just kind of tell by the vibes. It turns out an extermination just happened, so the angels just laid waste to everything, which it's just an interesting way of showing like hell looking like hell, but not for the reason that you think. It's because actually heaven just came through. It's like, oh, okay. It turns out that Lilith has been gone for 7 years, and Charlie doesn't know why, but she's like, I'm looking after hell, and I got my own thing. I have my own plan, and who knows why my mom left, but I'm sure she has her reasons. And it's like, okay, so Lucifer is somewhere down on his luck, and mom just straight up disappeared, even though she, from the beginning, right? We're only 5 minutes into the episode. She was said to be like, kind of the leader, and now she's like up and dipped. It's like, what's going on here? Interesting. Baggy says Alistair has something to show them, and right before we leave the room, you see this giant angel clock shining in the middle of town, clearly like ominous. It's like, oh, okay. Again, heaven's not being looked at in the best light. We cut to this sarcastic commercial being like, come on to this hotel. It starts off with a demon stabbing another one. You see it stabbing the other one. This is a mature animation, so not for the light of heart. Baggy, like halfway through or after the commercial, is kind of like, what the fuck was that, literally? So again, this is, it's nice to see adult animations for, just adults, and sometimes you can just get away with more stuff and you don't have to worry about it. But this is where we meet Alistair, and Alistair just has this like devilish grin. He looks demonic. And he used to have a radio show that we learned, and he hates TVs. He's like, radio is the way to go. This new TV stuff isn't it, which is so weird, but kind of funny, especially because we're watching a TV show. It's a little meta. Vaggie isn't happy about the commercial at all, and during this little rant that she has, we learn that Alistair just popped up like a week ago, so he's been somewhere, and he is an archdevil, so clearly he is higher on the food chain in terms of devils, but we don't really learn what that means just yet, because we meet Angel Dust, who is a porn star, and he's like, how about we shoot a porn commercial? And Charlie's like, yeah, I don't think that's the vibe that we're going for. And as this is happening, she gets a call from her dad, and it's like, okay, so she has some sort of connection to her father. So she goes to take that call. Angel asks if Alistair can force people to come stay at the hotel. He's like, oh yeah, I can, like in a very like evil way. And this is where we meet the bartender, and he's like, that's why I'm here. He's like, I don't want to be hanging out with any of you losers. Voiced by Keith David. But this is, that's Husk. And then we meet Nifty, the small little one who looks like she wants to stab everybody. Vaggie says, listen, we can't force people to stay. We need people to come of their own volition so that we can actually like heal them. Angel is like, all right, well, whatever. I'm just crashing here for free because, drugs are expensive. But it's already at this point that, I start to question, why is Charlie and Vaggie this way, right? Because they're in hell. So everything's, murder, sex, all that other stuff, right? And the two of them are just like, let's save everybody. And it's like, why? So there is this big mystery that is in the middle of this show, and I'm wondering why specifically the daughter of Lucifer and Lilith looking to redeem her people, because it's like, oh, the kindness of my, like, the way you grow up, the environment you grow up in doesn't necessarily determine exactly how you're going to be, but for the most part it kind of does, you know what I mean? So it was just very interesting that I'm like, I wonder if they're gonna answer why they're like this. But anyways, we move on. Charlie's super excited. She tells Vaggie like, hey, I got this meeting with heaven. I get to tell them about our plan. Vaggie's like, they just came through and like wiped us out. I don't think, like, this doesn't have good vibes. Charlie begins to sing, and this is the other part of the show that you need to know if you haven't watched this and you're just listening to me. This is a musical show, so if you're not into musicals and songs and stuff like that, this is not for you. I didn't mind, but I totally forgot until this part, because I had seen the original YouTube pilot like years ago, but when she started singing, I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot this is like a musical type thing. Now, I'm not a producer or anything like that, so I can't really speak on the music itself. It just sounds like a musical to me, but during this part, we get to see hell. And this is where, again, an adult animated show, you're seeing dead bodies, you're seeing drugs, you're seeing sex. Like, hell is helling. Now, one thing I'm interested about is that all of the creatures that you're meeting all look like demons or like animals or animal demons type things. And I'm curious if the show will ever answer, like, on Earth, are you a regular human and then you die and you turn into a demon? Or is this, like, on Earth, is it like animal people? Is there like a mixture? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? It's not very clear, but it did make me very interested. And again, why is Charlie so good of a person? Like, I know she wants to empower hell just like her mom did, but it's not really clear as to why she seems to be the only one that's like, we can save everybody and fix everything. And it's like, girl, you're in hell. I don't get how you got here. But we get to Charlie meeting an angel, and right off the bat, he's kind of a dick. But we don't spend too much time because we cut to Vaggie, and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna make a new commercial for my girlfriend. Let's change things around. So she starts to shoot one, and Husk is just straight up has the script in front of his face, his face, and he's just reading, and Angel's there, and he's being extremely horny, like this is a porn, and Maggie's like, oh my god, this isn't working. We cut back to the Angel, which is Adam, the first man. He is full on an asshole. He's showing Charlie a bitch. He's like not even there. He like offers her food, and the food's not even there. He's just like unnecessarily mean for no reason. We also learn that he's the leader of the Angels. Again, the show seems to be playing with this weird middle ground of like, hey, whether you're up or down doesn't really mean like you're benevolent or like pure evil. There is this weird middle ground, just like being a human, of, even when you are an angel or a demon, like you could still suck. You know what I mean? Or you could still be good. That's kind of like, I wonder what the repercussions are of this world when you're playing with, the idea of something like that. We go back to Vaggie, and she's trying to record Nifty, and I thought this part was so funny. She's like, all right, like, you ready? And she's like, yeah, I'm totally ready. And then as soon as she puts the camera up, Nifty just pupil small. She like 1,000-yard stare, deer in headlights. And Vaggie's like, what the? And she puts the camera down, and Nifty's like, yo, is that good? And she's like, maybe, say your line this time. And she's like, okay, cool, I got you. Puts the camera back up, and again, just like, she's staring off into the abyss, and it's like, okay, this isn't working. Vaggie gets frustrated. Nothing's coming together. Alistair's like, yo, I love to see like people down on their luck, so this is just giving me, the thing I need today. I found it interesting that Vaggie's not scared of him. She's like yelling at him right in his face, and he's like, all right, listen, I'll make a deal with you. And she's like, I'm not gonna give you my soul. Like, I know how this works. We're in hell. And he's like, no. He's like, I'll give you like a straight like business deal. I will help you with your commercial if you never make me touch a TV again. And then she's like, all right, fine, deal. So he conjures up a full production crew, gives everyone new outfits. They are ready to go. You go back to Charlie. She is about to, she basically gives like the elevator pitch of like, hey, I want to get these souls back into heaven. Let's give it a try. And Adam's like, no, the whole thing of like overpopulation in hell is the whole reason we have extermination. Like, you guys made your choices, and now you're in hell, and then it's our job to murder you guys and like get you out of there. So Charlie quickly tries to explain her whole plan of like, but if you get the souls out of here, like angels don't have to come down, and it kind of cuts out the middleman, and we can have a whole solution for this whole thing. And then Adam interrupts to start singing. And again, I'm not a producer or anything. I don't know much about like making music or whatever. I do think it sounds good. I like this song more than Charlie's song earlier. So that being said, I mean, it is what it is, which is exactly what Adam ends up saying is like, hey, again, you guys fucked up. You went to hell, and now your sin is to not only be in hell, but like you're in the way. So like, we're just going to clear you up and then, keep it moving. Oh, by the way, instead of once a year, we're actually going to do it. We're coming back again in another 6 months. So kind of implying like, yo, we're going to do this twice a year, which is like, what? And then he dips. And it's like, all right, like again, heaven doesn't really seem like, or at least the angels don't really seem like the best people. Like, kind of, again, Adam's a dick, and so is his like right hand. She's rude too, and they're just like not even willing to give Charlie's idea a chance. It's just like, no, like, you either get into heaven or you're not good enough. Almost like it's a club or something. We cut back. Charlie is in low spirits, but she pretends like everything went good. Baggy's like, listen, we made a new commercial. I want to show you. Puts it on. As soon as it's about to start, the news pops up and they're like, hey, everybody, we have 6 months before the angels come back and start wiping us out. And of course, everyone starts freaking out. We cut back to Adam and his right hand. And she's like, sir, we found a dead angel. Like, we found the body. We've never lost an angel. Like, they've never killed us before. Well, this should be concerning. And he's like, don't even worry about it. He's like, next time we come through, we're going to wipe everyone out. Like, they're dunsies. And that is where the episode ends. So if it is your first time here, I have a 3-point rating scale. It is 1 and done, give it a chance, and I'm in. For this one, I'm going to give it an I'm in. Again, I love the fact that this show plays with this middle ground of like angels can be the worst and demons can kind of be good, mainly Charlie and Baggy. I like the fact that like this is an adult animation project, so like if we're gonna be in hell, we're seeing hell. Like again, dead bodies, we got cannibals, we got porn, sex, like all of that stuff that you would think is gonna be in hell is in hell. But having that ability to, or a decision to have, the angels kind of be the worst is kind of like, okay, I wonder what not hell, I wonder what heaven looks like. And I wonder if they are, are they chill, or is it snobby, almost like a country club type vibe up there? Like, what's going on? I don't mind the music. I actually grew up on musicals, so music is fine with me. Again, Charlie's song was chill. I liked Adam's song, even though he's the worst. I like the characters, and again, the idea of redemption for these potential characters, if they get it, seems interesting, because it's like, all right, well, you're gonna naturally get to know them through the show, and then you're gonna have to figure out, like, how do I make them better? What is bothering them, and then how do we move towards that in a place where that environment is not like set up for something like that. Like Charlie's facing a losing battle. So yeah, I think everything's just set up to have a lot of questions that I want answered. And with it being in hell, there's a lot of chaos. And again, you get the timetable too, which I totally forgot about. Like, hey, you have 6 months. So there's just so many things that I think are interesting about this first episode that I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to keep watching. And I ended up watching the entire thing. I don't really have any spoiler thoughts to give, so don't worry about that. But yeah, I enjoyed this show. So I enjoyed this first episode and this show. So again, I'm going to give it an I'm in. If you want to keep up with me or the podcast, you can follow me on Twitter at Little Leafers. I will upload next Tuesday, and until then, have a good day. Peace.